Hello and welcome back to Bookish Theories. In today's video we take a look at ITZY's new trailer for Girls Will Be Girls. This time the girlies gave us lore on top of visuals and performance, and as you know, when there's lore there's me, so today I'll give you my take on it to figure out what to expect from this new comeback. This time around the trailer has been written and directed by the one and only director Yu, which has been really killing it in terms of creativity and storytelling. Some of the most iconic K-pop concepts of the last few years were brought to life by his direction, and this time is no different, you know. I've seen a lot of positive reactions, and to be honest, about time. Starring Ryujin as the main character, Girls Will Be Girls is a surreal modern fairy tale about growth, change, friendship, and rebirth. The story revolves around a girl whose heart stops beating and is trying to find a way to revive it. We start off in a doctor's office, where Ryujin is filling up a questionnaire while waiting to do an X-ray. GWBG gives us a little cameo teasing the title track of this comeback, but as Ryujin points out, this is no time for spoilers. Park Jin-young, do you think that this is a laughing meta? This is serious. My girl's heart is shriveling and she needs to fix it ASAP. This, however, is a problem that not even a cardiologist can fix, because Ryujin's heart has turned into plastic and is beating slower and slower. Yet this wasn't always the case. In the narration, Ryujin tells us that when she was a child she thought she was a genius. The world seemed simple back then, like everything would go exactly as planned, because why wouldn't it be? The world is your oyster at that age, but when you start to grow up, things very much change. As reality creeps in, you start to realize that it's not easy at all, and even if as a kid you thought that you were special, as an adult the world seems to be on a mission to prove you wrong. We got a sprinkle of golden child syndrome on our hands, folks, but also served with a big dose of disillusionment all of us can relate to. But how did we get to this place? As Ryujin's heart slows down, the video asks, how did your heart beat? Like we're trying to figure it out here. As a child, everything makes your heart beat. Everything is new, everything is exciting, but now nothing seems to have that power. When Ryujin meets up with the girls, she shows them the X-ray, she explains the situation, and yep, it's pretty dire, but hey, at least the ribs are pretty. Now, this is big girlhood here. In this context, Ryujin is having a hard time, but her friends are right there for her. They try to cheer her up, they try to look at the bright side, but as soon as they understand that she's basically dead inside, Yuna says, not on my watch, grab your racket, I'll give you heart palpitations if that's what it takes. What follows is ITZY's attempt at helping Ryujin get her heartbeat back. Yuna's first. She tries to increase her BPM with some physical activity, but after a challenging match, Ryujin is unfazed while Yuna is left huffing and puffing. Chaeryeon, on the other hand, tries a different approach. If physical activity doesn't work, how about some junk food then? That might do it, but alas, that doesn't work either. Yeji tries to entertain her with some karaoke, but nope. Leah channels her inner corpse bride and tries to spook her, but that not only fails, it makes things worse. Not even looking at Timothée Chalamet works, like this is a crisis we're facing here, and sure enough, Ryujin is changed by this experience. The girl with a plastic, shriveling heart now turns into an inflatable doll floating through life feeling absolutely nothing. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag? Yes, she does, and that's a real tragedy actually. I think that her transformation into a plastic doll has a lot of subtext here, like it can be interpreted in different ways. From a narrative standpoint, to me this is first and foremost a story about depression. We have a girl alive and walking, but dead inside, who feels nothing and cannot seem to find a solution to her problem. Her friends see what's going on, they try to stand by her side, each attempting a different approach, but nothing works. All she does is doom scroll on her phone all day every day. She doesn't eat, she doesn't care about anything. What used to give her happiness now makes her feel nothing. Even if she tries to find a doctor, she's going to the wrong one, because even if her numbness starts from the heart, it's not a heart problem per se. When the plastic starts to spread, that is, when the signs of her sadness become evident to the outside world, it's not something that happens overnight, it's gradual. For example, this shot right here for me is a dead giveaway of what this story is about. She's laying on the grass motionless, numb as she's turning into plastic, and with a blue light dimming her features. Like Ryujin is blue here, literally. She's melancholic, overwhelmed with sadness, and the more this happens, the more her body turns into a doll. Even in this state though, Ryujin is still so loved by her girls. She's cute as a girl and she's cute as a doll. They love her anyway, right? Too bad that she's too numb to appreciate it. On the road, they see a sign mirroring a message from her mom telling her to be home by 9. When she does, she's alone in the house, so with no one left to keep up the pretense for, she ends up giving up and deflating. This is her lowest point here. The girl turned into a doll now is completely drained, but when everything feels lost, hope comes from a very unexpected place. Under her bed, she sees toys from her childhood, and those toys spark in her memories of the past that she forgot. At this point, the deflated doll gains volume again. When she stands up, she's human again, but that's not all, because a faint beat can be heard coming from her chest. Her heartbeat is coming back, and even she's surprised about it. Reconnecting with her childhood sparked in her the same fire that she used to have when things felt easier. That's the spark that made her feel like a genius, that made her feel special, that made the world exciting. That's the spark that made her her. So while she is initially overwhelmed by this feeling, she follows the rhythm of her heart not to lose it again. Rujin coming back to herself here is represented by her stepping out of her room, escaping that metaphorical box she locked herself in, and at first this dive into the unknown is very scary. She's surrounded by darkness, but immediately the toys of her childhood come alive to support her. We can say that they are her imaginary friends, right? Like in the song. They have come through to protect her from the monsters so that she can keep on dreaming, and they're not the only ones. The girls join in as well, always by her side, and together they start dancing on a new path. This part made me tear up a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this performance was beautiful, especially when the girls all lean on each other to feel each other's heartbeat. In the dance, the imaginary friends and the real ones almost give a new life to Rujin. Like, the choreography really gives the impression that they're helping her breathe, that they're trying to make her survive, but all of a sudden Rujin's heart is so overcome by light that it pops out of her chest and is propelled into the sky like a shooting star. Rujin drops to the ground, dead and heartless, and the girlhood inside of her dies with her. This, however, is not the end, but rather a new beginning. Remember, girlhood never dies, it transforms, it evolves. The death of one Rujin allows the rebirth of a new one that is made of pure light. She's no longer blue now, she's all light, that is, the girl that as a child she thought she would become. Like the tease at the end, the heart starts pounding again, so now they'll become girls once more, meaning that now they'll reconnect with that part of them that they forgot. Now they will allow themselves to be those girls that the world tried to erase. This also brings me to the second interpretation of the concept, which doesn't really negate the first one, but kinda goes hand in hand with it, if you will. If on the surface this is a story of rebirth, girlhood and change, I think that if we dive a bit deeper, it can also be seen as ITZY reclaiming their place in the industry and making a statement of intentions here. ITZY has always been a very talented group, but over time their popularity has had some ups and downs, which is something that they're well aware of themselves. They started off really strong, but then it became more and more difficult, which I can only imagine is very frustrating when you're working that hard. If you look at the story from this perspective, then the girl whose heart has stopped beating can also be seen as a representation of them, their story. At first, when they were younger, everything felt new and exciting. Maybe it didn't really feel easy, but it felt achievable at least, because they're that girl, right? They have all it takes to make it, and they did. But over time it became harder and harder, to the point that they started doubting themselves and become disillusioned. The transformation into a plastic doll is also very telling in my opinion, especially if we read it from the perspective of this industry. The idol that turns into a doll as her heart stops beating, like, to me this might symbolize them slowly getting alienated by the wrong craft. In the story though, this girl is a fighter. Even at her lowest point she finds her way back up, and by reconnecting with her past she also manages to reignite that spark she thought she lost. To me this might be a core theme for Girls Will Be Girls, that is, them returning to source, them reminding everybody who they were and still are. It's like they say at the end, the moment the heart starts pounding again, they will become girls once more. This is a return of girlhood here, a rebirth of girlhood through which ITZY will finally regain their shine. To see what to expect from this comeback, for now we'll have to wait and see, but in the meantime let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you want to support me, I have a new channel for you to check out and merch linked in the description down below. As always, thank you so much for watching guys, I'll see you next time, bye bye!